You've got just weeks left because by the end of June 2025, these 10 grocery items will be impossible to find. This isn't speculation, it's already happening quietly. Empty shelves, late shipments, missing brands, no announcements, no alerts, just silence until it's gone. If you've been waiting to stock up, this is your final warning. The items in this list aren't obvious, but they're the ones vanishing fastest. In this video, we'll break down exactly what's going missing and why, so you can stay ahead before the rush turns into a crisis. Shortages don't start with chaos, they start with subtle gaps, delayed deliveries, and quietly rising prices. Right now, across the US, grocery stores are experiencing all three. The items on this list are showing signs of early-stage supply collapse, and once demand spikes, they'll be gone in days, not weeks. If you're prepping for the second half of 2025, these are the products you need to grab now, before they disappear and before prices double. This isn't about fear, it's about timing. Let's break down the 10 grocery items you'll wish you had before June ends. Before we jump into the list, do this. Drop your city in the comments. It helps. Build the Prepper Network and subscribe. Number 1, shelf-stable milk alternatives. Most people don't realize it yet, but shelf-stable milk alternatives like almond, oat, and soy milk are vanishing faster than traditional dairy, and by the end of June, they may be impossible to find. Here's why. These milk alternatives rely heavily on imported ingredients like almonds from California and Spain, oats from Canada and Europe, and soy, much of it sourced globally for processing. On top of that, shelf-stable packaging uses aseptic cartons, which are made with a blend of paper, plastic, and aluminum, all materials currently facing global supply delays and manufacturing bottlenecks. As of May 2025, several major brands, especially in organic and plant-based categories, are reporting inventory gaps, with many retailers reducing options and limiting restocks. Shelf-stable cartons that used to be fully stocked are now seeing just 1 or 2 rows, sometimes only available in single-serve sizes, not family cartons. These milk alternatives aren't just for vegans. They're used by people with lactose intolerance, parents of picky eaters, and those prepping for non-refrigerated dairy needs. In a blackout or power outage, shelf-stable milk becomes a lifeline. It's ready to drink, doesn't need refrigeration until opened, and lasts 6 to 12 months unopened, making it ideal for prepping. As demand increases and ingredients tighten, these cartons will be among the first to vanish when people realize real milk isn't always an option. And once they're gone, the prices will jump, the sizes will shrink, and you'll be stuck paying triple or doing without. Stock up now while shelves still carry your preferred brands and flavors. Shelf-stable milk isn't just a convenience, it's a survival asset hiding in plain sight. Number 2, instant bouillon cubes. They're small, cheap, and barely noticed on most grocery runs. But once the supply dries up, bouillon cubes will be almost impossible to replace. Whether you're making rice, soup, bean stew, or even boiling plain pasta, these tiny flavor bombs transform survival food into something you'll actually want to eat. But here's the catch. Bouillon cubes, especially chicken and beef varieties, are built on imported dehydrated meat stock, salt, MSG, yeast extract, and spices. Many of these components are manufactured in China, Brazil, and parts of Europe, all regions currently facing major supply disruptions and rising food export restrictions. As of May 2025, grocery stores have already started shrinking their bouillon sections. The cube multipacks are disappearing first, replaced by pricier paste jars or liquid broth pouches that require refrigeration. Online suppliers are also seeing bulk bouillon packs on backorder, especially in rural states where off-grid cooking is on the rise. And here's why that matters. Bouillon isn't just for taste. In a survival setting, it's a mood booster and a morale lifter. When you're eating plain lentils or boiled oats for the 3rd day straight, a single bouillon cube can change everything. Its flavor, comfort, and variety in a pocket-sized form. Bouillon cubes also have a fantastic shelf life, often 2 to 3 years or longer if stored cool and dry. They're compact, weigh next to nothing, and are perfect for bug-out. Bags, go-kits, or barter supplies. Once June ends and food stress increases, people will scramble for anything to improve flavor, and bouillon will vanish fast. Don't wait to rediscover how powerful these little cubes can be. Stock them now while they're still dirt cheap, because flavor will be the first thing to go when food fatigue kicks in. Canned coconut milk. It's creamy, shelf-stable, and the key to hundreds of recipes. But by the time July rolls around, you may not find canned coconut milk anywhere. especially not at a decent price. Here's why. Most of the world's canned coconut milk comes from Thailand, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka, all currently dealing with labor shortages, extreme weather events, and export slowdowns. At the same time, demand in the US has surged, driven by home cooking trends, plant-based diets, and rising popularity in everything from curries to smoothies to baking. As of May 2025, multiple suppliers are reporting container delays and reduced exports, while domestic distributors are seeing price hikes of up to 40%. In many grocery stores, the international foods aisle is already thinning out. What used to be a choice between 4 or 5 brands is now down to 1 or none. Coconut milk isn't just a flavor boost, it's a calorie-dense, high-fat, long-life product that fits perfectly into any prepper pantry. It's essential for dairy-free cooking, keto or paleo recipes, and as a backup fat source when butter or cream aren't an option. Each can last 2 to 5 years unopened and stores easily. It's incredibly useful in rice dishes, soups, curries, coffee, and even makeshift desserts. You can also dilute it into coconut milk or reduce it into a rich cooking cream. And once it's gone, there's no quick substitute. Powdered coconut milk exists, but it's even pricier, less available, and often less flavorful. This is one of those items people won't realize they miss until the aisle is empty and the price has doubled. If coconut milk is part of your cooking rotation, or even just a comfort backup, grab it now, because once summer hits, the tropical supply chain won't keep up. Number 4. Instant dry yeast bread shortages aren't dramatic anymore. They're just slow, quiet, and permanent in some areas. But the real danger isn't the bread disappearing, it's the instant dry yeast behind it. This tiny envelope is what lets you turn flour, water, and salt into something edible, filling, and morale-saving. And by the end of June 2025, it may be one of the hardest grocery items to find on any shelf. Here's why. Instant yeast is mass-produced using a fermentation process that depends on sugar, molasses, and temperature-controlled environments. Ingredients and infrastructure currently facing massive pressure due to energy costs, shipping delays, and chemical supply shortages. A large portion of global yeast supply is also tied to European and Canadian producers who are already prioritizing industrial baking contracts over retail markets. As of May 2025, major U.S. retailers and online stores are showing limited stock, especially in bulk jars or vacuum-sealed 1lb bags. 3-pack strips that used to cost $1.50 now go for $3 or more, and the large bags, often sold out or back-ordered for weeks. Yeast isn't just for bread, it's used in making pizza dough, naan, cinnamon rolls, sandwich loaves, flatbreads, anything that helps stretch your pantry into satisfying meals. Without it, your flour becomes limited to tortillas or crackers. And that means more repetition, fewer calories, and much less morale. What makes it worse? Yeast has a limited shelf life, about 1 to 2 years unopened if stored cool and dry, and even less once opened. That means what's on shelves now might be your last chance for fresh, potent stock. If you've got flour in your preps, yeast should be sitting right next to it. And in a food crisis, it becomes a barter goldmine. Don't wait until your local store is wiped clean. Secure your yeast now and secure your ability to feed, comfort, and survive. Number 5. Shelf-stable tofu. When meat prices spike or supply dries up, most people turn to canned beans or peanut butter, but smart preppers know there's another powerhouse protein that's vanishing quietly: shelf-stable tofu, specifically the vacuum-sealed, unrefrigerated kind that's found in the Asian foods aisle. This isn't the soft, water-packed tofu in the refrigerated section. Vacuum-sealed tofu is firm, dense, and shelf-stable for up to a year without refrigeration. It's packed with clean protein, about 10-15 grams per serving, plus calcium, iron, and other vital nutrients. It's vegan, affordable, and incredibly versatile. But here's the problem. Most of it is imported from Taiwan, South Korea, and China. These manufacturers are already prioritizing domestic buyers and long-term contracts over export. Add in shipping delays, port congestion, and ingredient shortages, and U.S. supply is dwindling fast. As of May 2025, several Asian grocers and specialty online stores are reporting inconsistent stock, especially for the larger multi-packs and flavored varieties. And once word spreads in prepping and plant-based communities, these packages will disappear overnight, just like they did in early 2020. Why is this such a loss? Shelf-stable tofu doesn't need soaking, doesn't require long cooking times, and absorbs flavors incredibly well. You can stir-fry it, bake it, cube it into soups, or mash it for scrambles. It's one of the few ready-to-eat, long-life proteins that checks every box: light, compact, affordable, and nutrient-rich. Plus, it has huge barter value. In a meat-deprived or vegetarian household, this becomes a luxury survival item, especially when bean fatigue sets in. Once June ends and the shelf-stable section gets hit, restocks won't come quickly. If at all, if you see vacuum-sealed tofu in stock, grab more than you think you'll need, because when the meat runs low, this will be the protein people fight for next. Number 6. Clarified butter. In any food shortage or extended crisis, fat becomes one of the hardest macronutrients to store long-term. That's why clarified butter is an elite survival food. It's shelf-stable, high in calories, and nearly impossible to replace once it's gone. And by the end of June 2025, finding it may be near impossible. Butter is made by simmering butter to remove water and milk solids, leaving behind pure fat with a high smoke point and intense flavor. It's used heavily in Indian, Middle Eastern, and keto cooking, but it's not just cultural. It's critical. Butter is ideal for frying, sautéing, spreading, or adding to grains and vegetables for vital calories. Here's the problem: most of the high-quality ghee in the US is imported from India, New Zealand, and Australia. With rising dairy prices, shipping disruptions, and growing global demand, ghee supply is tightening. As of May 2025, prices have jumped 30–40% in major retailers. Online listings show sold-out brands, longer shipping times, and bulk buyers scooping up inventory fast. Unlike regular butter, butter is shelf-stable for 12–18 months unopened and doesn't require refrigeration, making it perfect for emergency storage. It also has a high smoke point, meaning it won't burn easily, ideal for off-grid or open-fire cooking, and it's calorie-dense. 1 tablespoon of ghee packs around 120 calories, making it a powerful addition to rice, oats, lentils, or any bland pantry staple. In a food-scarce situation, that kind of boost matters. It's also great for morale. Flavor fatigue is real during long-term storage living, and ghee delivers rich, buttery taste that transforms simple meals into comforting ones. It's one of the few luxury items that doubles as practical survival fuel. When the dairy chain breaks, butter goes first. But ghee won't be far behind. Stock it now while it's still on the shelf, because once the shortage is hit, this liquid gold will vanish and won't return soon. Number 7. Chia seeds. They're small, easy to store, and absolutely packed with nutrients. But by the end of June 2025, chia seeds might be impossible to find on most grocery shelves. And once they're gone, there's no real substitute. Chia seeds are a quiet powerhouse in survival nutrition. Just 2 tablespoons contain about 10 grams of fiber, 5 grams of protein, and nearly 180 milligrams of calcium. They're also rich in omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and help maintain hydration when soaked in water. Whether you're boosting oatmeal, thickening stews, or making quick no-cook pudding, chia is one of the most flexible ingredients in a prepper's pantry. But here's the issue. Most chia seeds sold in the US are imported from South America, primarily Argentina, Bolivia, and Paraguay. These regions are currently facing droughts, political instability, and shipping constraints. Add to that rising global demand for health foods, and we're seeing real strain in the supply chain. As of May 2025, bulk chia seed prices have already risen by 35%, and organic varieties are even harder to source. Online platforms show frequent out-of-stock messages on 2- and 5-pound bags. Some warehouse clubs have removed chia seeds from store shelves entirely, citing vendor shortages. What makes chia so irreplaceable? It's shelf-stable for up to 5 years if kept cool and dry, and it doesn't require cooking. You can eat it raw, mix it into meals, or use it to stretch calories. In grid-down scenarios or high-heat environments, it's a low-prep, high-impact food. Plus, chia absorbs up to 10 times its weight in water, helping with hydration and satiety, 2 things that matter a lot when food is scarce and energy is limited. This is the kind of item most people miss. Until it's gone. Stock up now, before the superfood crowd and survival shoppers clear it out. Number 8. Peanut butter powder. When shelf space is tight and calories matter, few foods perform like peanut butter powder. It's compact, calorie-dense, and protein-rich, everything a prepper could want in an emergency pantry. But with current demand and supply chain shifts, this underrated grocery gem is disappearing fast, and it may be impossible to find by the end of June 2025. Unlike traditional peanut butter, which can go rancid and separate, peanut butter powder is dehydrated, shelf-stable, and lasts up to 10 years when sealed properly. You can rehydrate it with water for spreadable use or toss it dry into smoothies, oatmeal, pancakes, or even savory sauces. It's extremely versatile and incredibly efficient to store. But here's the problem. Most peanut butter powder is made by a handful of manufacturers in the US and depends on steady supplies of roasted peanuts, oil extraction facilities, and specialized dehydration equipment. And right now, all of those are under pressure. Peanuts crops have been hit by droughts in key growing states, and labor shortages are slowing down processing plants. As of May 2025, prices have increased by 30 to 40% over the past 6 months, and large containers, especially the 1lb and 2lb tubs, are harder to find both online and in stores. Some major retailers have shifted to selling only smaller, single-use packets, less efficient and more expensive per ounce. Why does this matter? Because in a grid-down or rationing situation, protein and fat become survival priorities, and peanut butter powder delivers both without requiring refrigeration or fuel to prepare. It's also gluten-free, kid-friendly, and easy to portion. It's a top-tier barter item, too. Protein-based preps hold serious trade value in any long-term shortage, especially one that hits fresh foods and cold storage. If you rely on peanut, butter, or just want a backup protein that's light, stable, and compact, now's the time to grab it. Once it's gone, there's no easy replacement. Stock up while it's still available, because when the peanut aisle goes bare, this powdered powerhouse won't stick around either. Number 9. Freeze-dried vegetables. When fresh produce disappears and canned options run thin, there's one thing every prepper wants in their pantry: freeze-dried vegetables. Lightweight, compact, and packed with nutrients, these shelf-stable essentials are perfect for long-term food security, but by the end of June 2025, they may be off shelves completely or priced out of reach. Freeze-dried vegetables offer something rare in survival food: real nutrition without bulk or spoilage. Broccoli, peas, spinach, bell peppers, carrots, corn, you name it. They retain almost all their vitamins and minerals, require no refrigeration, and rehydrate in minutes. That means you can turn bland rice or noodles into full meals, even during blackouts or rationing. The problem? Most freeze-dried veggies are produced by a limited number of facilities in the US, with many brands relying on the same contract manufacturers. These companies are now facing ingredient shortages, equipment maintenance backlogs, and packaging delays, especially for the Sugar 10 cans and Mylar pouches. Add to that a surge in consumer demand driven by food inflation and disaster prep, and supply is cracking. As of May 2025, top suppliers are reporting 3 to 6-week delays, and some popular blends are already out of stock. Prices on mixed vegetable. Cans have increased by over 50% in the past year, and affordable sampler pouches are disappearing first. Why does this matter? In a long-term emergency, vitamin deficiencies creep in fast. Freeze-dried veggies help balance a starch-heavy diet, reduce food fatigue, and support immune function, all critical when medical care may be limited. They also store 10 to 25 years unopened, depending on packaging, making them one of the smartest long-term grocery investments you can make. And when everyone else is fighting over canned corn, your freeze-dried backup will be gold. Don't wait until your local supplier posts "sold out." Get your stock while options still exist, because fresh isn't guaranteed and these vegetables don't last on shelves for long. Number 10. Instant mashed potatoes. In any emergency, shelf-stable carbs are a top priority. But while everyone's chasing rice and pasta, one overlooked heavyweight is quietly disappearing: instant mashed potatoes. They're cheap, filling, easy to prepare, and by the end of June 2025, they'll be nearly impossible to find. Instant mashed potatoes check every prepper box. They're lightweight, require only hot water, and deliver a fast dose of carbs, calories, and comfort. One pouch can stretch across multiple meals or feed a family with little effort. And when paired with canned meat, gravy, or seasoning, they become a morale-boosting centerpiece in any survival meal. So what's the issue? These products rely on dehydrated potato flakes, which come from processing plants that are already strained by labor shortages and raw potato price spikes. Droughts and fuel costs have hit U.S. potato growers hard in 2025, especially in Idaho. And Washington, two of the biggest suppliers. Add packaging shortages and increased demand, and the supply chain is choking. As of May 2025, retailers are limiting stock of large boxes and multi-packs, especially in warehouse clubs and discount stores. Prices have risen 20 to 30%, and some private label brands have quietly disappeared. Instant mashed potatoes also store 2 to 5 years unopened, making them a great medium-term prep. And they're not just for side dishes. Mix them with flour to stretch dough, thicken soups, or make emergency flatbreads. They're also highly tradable. In a world where time, fuel, and energy are limited, people will flock to foods that are hot, hearty, and easy. Stock up now, because once potato shortages make the headlines, these pouches will disappear faster than you think. These 10 grocery items won't disappear all at once, but make no mistake, they are disappearing, quietly, silently, and by the time the public notices, the shelves will be bare and the prices doubled. This isn't about panic, it's about preparation. The window to act is closing fast. Whether it's freeze-dried vegetables, shelf-stable tofu, or powdered peanut butter, even grabbing 1 or 2 items today puts you ahead of the curve. So here's your move. Check your pantry, make your list, hit the store or your favorite online supplier before June ends, and before you go, help the community. Drop a comment with your city or region. Tell us, which item surprised you most? Are you already seeing gaps where you live? Your info could be the heads up someone else needs. If this video helped you, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We're tracking every quiet shift in the grocery world so you don't get blindsided later. Stay sharp, stay stocked, and stay ahead.